Hello, my name is Moses Simon Soro. I'm here to tell you about my story of hope and how MSF helped me to be what I am today. Uh, I was born in South Sudan, but it used to be Sudan, a small town called Yei. In 2011, South Sudan became independent, and the North became a separate country, Sudan. Then we became South Sudan. But before that, of course, the North and the South were in a protracted war that started long before I was born, and it stopped in, I think, 1972. But in 1983, the war started again. The Southerners were fighting for freedom, and they wanted also to have their own country because we were being mistreated by the Northerners. So the war took a lot of lives. A lot of destruction was done. We lived through the war in South Sudan, but it became so apparent and it became so difficult that even when we ran to the villages, we still get bombed by anti-NOP bombers, which are dropping barrels of bombs on the civilians. So we could not stay in South Sudan. We had to cross over to refuge in Uganda. That was in the early 1990s. We just crossed in Uganda and were dropped out of a town called Koboko, about 6 miles out of the town. It was just a bush. South Sudanese refugees were just dropped there. And we had no tents, we had no tukuls, nothing. All of us were exposed to the elements. We were young kids that time. And I'm from a polygamous family. My father could not afford to construct for us houses or tukuls. It was until MSF came in that we received tents, and of course also MSF set up a dispensary, which was very helpful that time, because at the time there was outbreak of malaria, because sleeping outside, mosquitoes, we would have no mosquito nets. Of course also there was an outbreak of cholera, because it was rainy time and people were having no pit latrines, so people were excreting outside, and that also caused a lot of cholera. A lot of people died in Uganda at that time. The camp was called Beng. A lot of people died because of diarrhea and mosquito bites for the kids. I lost quite a few of my relatives, but of course others were saved, including me, by MSF, because I fell sick and I was treated in that dispensary of MSF. So that touched me a lot. Up to today, I think, had MSF not to come, then probably I could have not been here talking to you. I would be dead also like my other siblings who died young with preventable diseases, but because we're exposed to the element, because of the poverty, because of the troubles we had, because of the war, could not come with all that we had. Refugee life is a bit difficult. It's not a very easy life. Been there, it's a very difficult one. But this message of hope comes in because without MSF, I would have not been what I am. Without MSF, my siblings will not be what they are. Without MSF, probably I've not gone to school because they kept me healthy. That was how I went to school and I would go study. So I made a promise to myself and to my family that one day when I grow up, when I finish studies, I would love to be a part of MSF and I would like to serve humanity in the most desperate situations that MSF also finds people in. I would love to give my help. I would like to help the needy because that is the right thing to do. So after independence, of course, I studied in Uganda all this time. Then I crossed to Britain. I came to Britain transferring my refugee status from Uganda to Britain. And in Britain, thankfully, I was given refugee status. And I continued in my studies. I completed a master's degree in international relations at Kiel University, thinking I was going to work in the Foreign Office of South Sudan when South Sudan became independent in 2011. I returned to South Sudan and I worked as a bank manager. I worked with some international NGOs, Democracy International and International Republican Institute, where I was training MPs, all the MPs in South Sudan, the state government and the national legislature, on good governance, accountability, constituent outreach, how they can oversight the government so that at least there's transparency and accountability. And of course, in essence, there'll be good governance in South Sudan. That was the intention. Doing that, some politicians became very interested in what I was doing, and I got appointed one of the political positions as a commissioner of Morobo County. That's the county where I come from originally, my parents, though I was born in Yei, the nearest county. So I went and worked in Morobo as a commissioner. Then after, I became a state minister of finance. When Yei became a state, when the states were divided into 32 states. After that, I decided, I said, no, I'll have to leave because the war is continuing now, this current civil war in South Sudan. And our people are going again for refuge. And this time I'm also a decision maker. So that became a bit a conflict for me. So I decided to resign from my position as a state minister of finance. And I came to the UK and I went back to university to study human resource management because I've seen in MSF's job adverts, the only job that I could do, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, the only job that I can do is support the medical teams. So I decided to go to university and studied a master's degree in human resource management at the University of Westminster. When I completed, I applied to MSF and I went through the application process and I got offered the position as a finance and human resource manager. That was when I was offered a position in Syria. So I went to Syria, and in Syria I was we were working in two projects. One was for non-communicable diseases like these are diabetes, tuberculosis, and the other one was to treat TB in one of the detention centers for ex-fighters. So those are the two projects that we did in Syria. I, of course, told the Syrians, the colleagues that I work with, my experience. I told them I was once a refugee. I know how it feels to be displaced in your own country. I know how it feels to be helpless within your own country. But let them be hopeful because these things will not last forever. One day, they will live life as free citizens of Syria. They should have hope, like what I had. I knew one day I will not be a refugee forever, but I will be somebody who can also help refugees be okay. So that's how I became, I encouraged my team. I focus, of course, on administrative aspects to allow the project run smoothly. Of course, I dealt with the recruitment. We dealt with the implementation of MSF policies. We dealt with encouraging people to have, of course, respect for the work they do, training, shadowing them, build their confidence, of course, and so that the team will be prolific like what I really wanted them to be, and they were really hardworking and all this. So Of course, when I was working in the tuberculosis project, one day I went to visit to see the people that I work for, the people who are receiving our services. When I went and I saw a plum peanut that was given to them because they were being malnourished, immediately that brought memories flowing. I told my colleagues, this was the thing that saved me too. Without the plum peanut, I would have been dead. I was malnourished. The plum peanut helped me to recover. And that was what MSF was giving the detainees. So I took one, I kept it on my desk. My intention was to bring it and show it to my children. Because I kept telling them that this was something that helped me, but they didn't know, they didn't see, even they don't know what it is. On giving them photos, they could not understand. So I had to bring it. Unfortunately, when I was leaving Syria, I was in a hurry. I didn't go back to the office. I forgot. But luckily enough, MSF posted for me one, and I showed them how a plum peanut looks like. All in all, it was a privilege working for MSF. I don't regret doing it. I'm in fact very happy to help humanity, to also provide the services that I was once given. I feel indebted to MSF, so I want to do it to help other people help themselves, like how I've also benefited. And today also I'm a decision maker in MSF, making sure that these services, these projects, the help that we give people, it's free, and of course it's in passion. And this is the reason also why I left politics, because I don't want to conflict with the MSF's ethos of being impartial, being political neutral. That's what I've embraced now. That's why I'm very happy going where the need is. Wherever there is need, I'm happy to go and help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses. Just in addition to that, could you tell us a little bit about the work you're now doing in Nigeria with MSF?
Okay. I've been working with the Metropolitan Police in the new project of graduate police officers, but I've realized this is not the core that I really wanted. So I've decided to put myself available, and MSF has offered me a position in northwestern Nigeria in a place called Zamfara. I'll be going there on the 1st of December to do exactly what I did in Syria: recruitment, coaching, training, handling the finances of MSF to make sure everything that we do is transparent, and of course also model the team to be good MSF staff, and of course to work for the causes that MSF believes in. So that's what I'll be going to do in Nigeria.